if we have a setup in our instance that allows SSIS processing, so it means that integration services will be processing our stored procedures, then we can go to the process tab that looks a little different than a standard one, and we have a SSIS process flow that is editable. So initially we have 7 object groups that tell us how BF4 Dynamics will process stored procedures, in which order. So first we'll do a date, then help procedures for dimensions, then we'll be loading dimensions, we'll be dropping constraints and indexes, loading help tables for facts, loading facts, and putting back constraints and indexes. Now, so what we have here is in each group there is a list of stored procedures that is defined by BF4 Dynamics application, and this comes out of the box. Now let us see the fields is whether we want to include or not include the stored procedure, order, process, object, subgroup. And what's interesting, if we check what was the latest processing time in seconds, that sometimes can be very useful. Now first, when would I not use some of the load procedures? For example, if I'm not interested in sales delivery, I can easily skip this. Maybe if that would be shaving off some time, I'm happy with that if I don't use this procedure. So this is a standard package. We can add additional group. So if I go here and I can create, let's say, load POS. So I'll create a new object group. It's here. So I want this project object group to be executed, let's just after date. Okay. So now it's empty and nothing is here. And I can add an SSIS package here. So let me go to the SSIS packages. Let's just create an example. NPI project, SSIS integration services project. Let's just import this data. So we have it here. So this will be executed after date, and whatever in SSIS packages BF4 Dynamics doesn't really know, it'll be executed. Now, one more, of course, we can also move different stored procedures from one group to another. That is quite simple. Let's just do the first one. So now I'm putting it, just for example, truncate to GL help. So I have it here. There is absolutely no reason why I should put it here. So I'm just putting it back for demonstration. And everything that is within the object group will be processed based by the object subgroup, which means we have let's say better in the fact area. Like you see, the object subgroup is cube general ledger, which means this will be processed as one subgroup in parallel with another subgroup and this. So everything that is a subgroup will be put into one sub package, and within the sub package this will be executed first, second, third, and so on. So in this subgroup package, truncate will be done first and then load, and on and on and on. So this is the rule, which means actually the biggest groups of stored procedures are in loading dimensions. So each dimension has its own subject group, which means that all dimensions will be executed in parallel, while in facts there are more than one stored procedure for each subgroup, probably that many as we have cubes. So and the facts, actually the facts, yes, so as many facts we have, that many sub packages will be going in execution in parallel. One more thing, you've noticed that with process all, usually I would process stage, data warehouse, and analysis services. But let's just say, okay, for some reason I may execute and process only stage and data warehouse, and let's say I'm in development and I'm done with that part. I go for execution of analysis database. But I have another idea how I can exclude analysis database, which means I cannot process cubes. The cubes will not be processed. But what I'll do, I'll add another group like process cubes. Okay, let us just process cubes, and it just find that I have the process cube object group at the end, because what I will do now is I will add a package, and I created a process cube with SSIS a package. So if I would open this package, now I'm in Visual Studio. So actually what I have, this is process cubes with SSIS. Let's say that this is the connection string. So I select which cubes and how these cubes will be processed. So for example, if I would have a parallel execution, I can use this instead of sequence. Now this is one of the options how I can flexibly import additional sources, manage the process flow within the existing stored procedures with moving stored procedures from one to another subgroup. And also, just an idea, if you have, for example, the enterprise version of SQL Edition and you would like to mess with partitions, you can define your own packages and execute them here. Of course, I can also add a process flow. So if I add a new process flow like GL, then everything is first copied from a standard one. But if I would like to, for example, exclude some of the process stored procedures, then I can just do the part that I want this to be processed with. So this is sure possible to execute it more time than once.